Hello, this is Not-Netflix Natters, Series 3, Episode 1. Who really shapes children's choices? Hi, I'm Jan, a children's author and a nonna, and this is Not-Netflix Natters. Have you ever noticed how quickly a child becomes fascinated by a particular character? 1 week, it's all about a cat. The next, a dinosaur. Then suddenly they want the books, the toys, the films, the t-shirts, and perhaps the lunchbox too. And it raises an interesting question. When a child says, "Can I watch that?" or "Can we buy this?" whose choice is it really? Is it the child's? Or has that choice already been shaped by many other influences? That is what we're exploring today. At first glance, the answer seems simple. Children choose what they like. And of course, they do. But children do not make their choices in isolation, nor do you. Behind every preference sits a wider world. Parents, grandparents, siblings, friends, teachers, libraries, authors, publishers, streaming platforms, algorithms, advertising, and increasingly global brand ecosystems designed to capture attention. Children choose, but the environment around them strongly shapes what they notice and what they value and what they return to. Parents are early programmers, and for many years, developmental research has told us something very important. In the early years, parents and caregivers are the most significant influence on a child's development. Through everyday interactions, they help shape language, confidence, emotional regulation, reading habits, beliefs about learning, expectations about life. Paul McKenna describes parents as the child's first hypnotists. That may sound dramatic, but the idea is straightforward. Young children are highly suggestible. They absorb the words that they hear, the stories they are told, the emotional tone around them, the expectations placed upon them. They absorb our words, repeat them, and turn them into part of their own understanding of their world. I saw this very clearly. A recent family visit happened. I jokingly said, "Poo bums and wheeze." One of my grandchildren immediately corrected me. "No, Jan, it's poo bottoms and wheeze. Poo bums and wheeze is naughty." He then repeated this with great gusto and delight for the rest of the week. It was funny though, but it also was a perfect reminder that children are listening far more closely than we sometimes realise. Before children can explain what they believe, they are already forming beliefs about who they are, what they can do, whether mistakes are safe, and whether reading feels good. Researchers such as Jack Shonkoff and Kathy Hirsch-Pasek have shown that healthy development is built through ordinary moments, conversations, play, shared reading, warm attention, time. Small moments matter. That is the reason I care so deeply about books and family reading rituals. They may look simple, but their effect can be profound. The modern reality today, however, parents are not shaping children's choices on their own. Children grow up in a much more complex environment. There are platforms recommended what to watch next. Schools introduce new books and ideas. Friends influence tastes. Advertising is everywhere. Characters expand into toys, games, and merchandise. These systems are designed to capture attention. This does not mean parents are powerless. It does mean that they are no longer the only influence with their children. What I see as a grandmother. As a grandmother, I see this all the time. One child becomes deeply attached to a character and wants everything connected to that world. Another dismisses it, a film at first, and then laughs all the way through it and asks to watch it again. Sometimes enthusiasm begins in the classroom, sometimes in a library, sometimes with a friend, sometimes through a trailer. I've said this a lot, but it's true. Children are remarkably discerning. They know what feels exciting. They know what feels authentic. And they know what they want to revisit. The opportunity gap. Not all families shape children's choices under the same conditions. Some children grow up rich in skilled adult time. They experience shared reading, thoughtful conversation, imaginative play, calm routines, access to books and enriching experiences. Other families are equally loving, but under significant pressure. Long working hours, financial strain, stress, limited time and energy. This is not about blame. It's about opportunity. And it helps explain why some children encounter richer developmental experiences than others. So what and who really shapes children's choices? The honest answer? We all do. Parents remain the most important early influence, but they are supported and sometimes challenged by schools and libraries, peers and communities, creators and publishers, platforms and algorithms, the economic reality of family life. Children's preferences emerge from the interaction between family culture, opportunity, and the wider media environment. So, why does this matter? This is not simply a discussion about screen time. This is a discussion about childhood. If we want children to become thoughtful readers, curious learners, and discerning viewers, we need to understand the forces competing for their attention. And we need to ask how families can remain at the centre, rather than controlling every choice, but by creating enough shared time, stories, and conversations for children to develop their own preferences that are genuinely their own. The fact of the matter is this: children's choices are never shaped by one influence alone. But when adults make time to read, play, talk, notice what children return to, they do something profoundly important. They help children learn not just what to choose, but what is worth choosing. In our next episode, we will explore an important question. Does time matter more than money? Because the real divide may not simply be between rich and poor. It may be between children who regularly experience skilled adult attention and those who receive far less of it through no fault of their own. If this reflection resonated with you, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Who do you think most shapes children's choices today? Is it parents, their mates, algorithms, or something entirely different? please share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you've enjoyed this quiet conversation about childhood, reading and learning, do subscribe to the channel. Until next time, let's have no dramas.